All right, we're going to proceed first with Mr. Guyana's client. Court is calling 2021 CR 0824, State of Texas versus Manuel Reynold Rose. If I can have parties announced for the docket for the state.
Jordan Brown for the state.
For the defense.
Robert Gaona for the defense.
All right, this case was actually scheduled yesterday, March 2nd. The defendant was a no-show. The court recalled the case for today. Deputy Laura, has the defendant been in the courtroom at all today?
No, Your Honor, he has not.
And for the record, the defendant has not been on the Zoom screen. This hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It is now 11:55 a.m. Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
No, Your Honor. Just let the record reflect that I've been trying to get in contact with my client at a number provided. That response was that this was a wrong number. Don't call me again. I found his son through some other access, probably through the bail bondsman. His son responded that he does not have contact with his father and hasn't had any contact as of this date.
All right, state.
They request that a bond be forfeited and warrant be issued for the defendant.
That'll be granted, and I'll remand your client without bond. If you have any contact with your client and they present themselves to the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. Mr. Coronado, you're here on Lauro Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor, checking to see if he's joined us, which I don't think he has.
All right. Court is calling 2021 CR 0248, State of Texas versus Lauro Armando Martinez. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Jordan Brown for the state.
For the defense?
Todd Coronado.
All right, this case was originally set on yesterday, March 2nd. The defendant was a no-show. The court recalled it for today. This hearing was scheduled at 9 a.m. It is now 11:56 a.m. Deputy Laura, has there been a Lauro Armando Martinez in the courtroom at all today?
No, Your Honor, he has not.
And for the record, he has not been on the Zoom screen as well. Defense, have you had any contact with your client?
No, Your Honor, I've called a number that came with the order of appointment, and that's the recording is not a working number. And I called AA Best Bonds to get a number a couple of days ago. They gave me another number, but that states it rings, and it says voice mailbox has not been set up yet. Couldn't leave a voicemail, so I text a couple of times, and I have not heard back at all.
State?
They request that bond be forfeited and warrant be issued for the defendant.
That'll be granted. If you're able to get in touch with your client and have them present themselves to the court will reconsider, and I'll remand your client without bond. With that, we'll close the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, you're excused.
Thank you.
All right, next we're here on Mr. Pompa.
Present.
All right. Court is calling 2018 CR 9362, State of Texas versus Robert Lee Pompa. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Jordan Brown for the state.
For the defense?
Edward Bartolome on behalf of Mr. Pompa. Mr. Pompa present, Your Honor, on bond. And Your Honor, my understanding is as he was self-surrendered today, Judge, that you were concerned about the healing of his injuries. He's still partially immobilized 50%. This is a to-do plea and he's got problems walking, Your Honor. What's the status of your shoulder injury? The one that penetrated?
No, time out, time out.
Okay.
No, we do things in an orderly fashion. So
Yeah.
I've had the people announce for the defense. The parties have announced for the state. And are you Mr. Pompa?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
On January 6th, the defendant entered a plea of true to violation of condition number 2. The state waived all other allegations. The court found violation of condition number 2 true. This was rescheduled for February 3rd, 2021. The defense came in on February 3rd, told me the defendant had been shot. So now we're here on March 3rd. Is there any objections to us proceeding by video, state?
Objection.
Defense, any objections to us proceeding by
No
video?
objection pursuant to our prior signing the waiver, Your Honor.
And for the record, the defendant is in the courtroom, and this is one of the days that the court is allowed to have in-person hearing. Was there an agreement with regards to sentence?
It was, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement state?
Judge, I don't have the agreement I'm standing in. I don't know what the number is. If Mr. Bortolome does. or I
Just
can
one
find out from
second, Your
somebody
Honor. Just 1 second, Judge.
Thank you.
Allow me to depart for 1 second here. Robert Pompa. Your Honor, we had an agreement. I believe it was for a term of years, and I can't. Got to get to a different screen, Judge. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I thought we. Robert,
It was, if I may, court,
Yes.
5 years, it was a 5-year sentence with back time, I believe. And self-surrender myself on January 6th. I'm sorry, February 3rd. But I got shot January the 14th. I spent a week in the hospital. And upon my release, I was released in a wheelchair. And my arm just, how do you say it?
incapacitated.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So I didn't have no feeling or anything. I'm just now getting it back and stuff.
Okay, the only thing I wanted to know, and the only question I had was, what was the agreement?
The agreement was self-surrender myself, ma'am. On the February 3rd.
Your Honor.
All right. So, defense, are you prepared to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
So did you want to address your client's issue as far as whether or not he needs more time?
I do, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Your Honor, as Mr. Pompa has indicated, he is on the mend from 3 gunshot wounds. One almost pierced his heart. He's 50% incapacitated in his left arm, Your Honor, with 0 feeling. His knee is where the familiar artery and the bone were shattered is almost healing, but his mobility is still highly restricted. And in light of the fact that he's facing incarceration for a protracted term of time, we'd ask some additional time for mending, Your Honor. And originally we'd asked for 90 days. The court said we'd have to come back at 30. We're back at 30, Your Honor. We'd ask for a continuance on this particular portion to allow him to mend, Your Honor.
State.
Judge, we would defer to the court. Obviously, he knows that he could be going to prison today and he showed up, so we're aware of that. Generally, we agree with the court's policy of not doing long resets when that's a situation where they should be in prison or they're supposed to turn themselves in to go to prison. But obviously, there's extenuating circumstances here. I have not seen any of the medical documentation, but I have no reason to doubt anything that the court's been told. So I'll just defer to the court's judgment on whether or not to give an extension of time.
All right. Mr. Bartholomew and Mr. Pompa, I'll give you a 30-day reset, but there will be no further resets. Do you understand?
And, if I may, just and I'll be done with my therapy in 2 weeks, and then the 3rd week will be the discharge from. So that gives me ample time. Spending time is 3 weeks actually is what I need.
Right.
30 days is what she's doing.
Well, I'm going to give you 30 days, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So that way, if there's anything that happens, as far as something extra you need to do, you'll have time to do that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Norma, can you recall Mr. Pompa in 30 days? And you'll need to appear in the courtroom.
Yes, ma'am. I will.
April 1st, Judge, 30 days.
All right. All
Thank
right,
you,
we'll
Mark.
see you April 1st. Just one moment. We're going to get you a reset form.
No.
All right, with that, we'll close the hearing.
Thank you, Ren. You may be excused when you get the form.
Okay, Mr. Bartolome, I'll give you a call. Thank you.
Thank you. And Your Honor, I have Ms. Gallegos on the docket today.
All right, just one moment. Okay, who do you have?
Laura Gallegos.
Is that a night mag, Mr. Bartolome?
You know, that I can't tell you right off the top of my head. I apologize, but I can get you the answer in just a second.
All right, if you have a SID number or something.
I'm gonna pull it for us real quick, George. The computer here.
It's a night mag, Judge. It hasn't been indicted.
All right, then that would not be set today, Mr. Bartholomew, unless you specifically set it for something.
No, Your Honor, it appeared on my calendar from the notices that we received initially. And in that case, I will contact.
Let me make sure she didn't apply for a PR bond, Judge, or something. Give me 1 second.
All right, thank you.
Oh, no, because she's out on bond, Judge. Sorry. She's out on bond.
Okay.
I'll confer, Your Honor. I believe it's a drug case. And I.
Oh, well, they don't, if she hasn't been indicted yet, that means that they don't have any laboratory reports.
Right.
Is that correct?
I can check. Do we have a SID?
All right, do you have a SID?
Give me 1 second. Get it for you right now.
All right, with that, we are going to close.